Good evening, true believers, and welcome back to another episode where we'll be wandering around Tokyo, specifically the Nogata area of Nakano. And to put it on the map, it's just a couple of stations over from Shibuya Station, which I'm sure many of you know. Lots of tall buildings, narrow streets, and neon lights, so let's get into it. Okay, here I am in Nogata, which is in Nakano City, in Tokyo. I'm stealing some available light here. Trains going past as well, which is pretty inevitable, but just got back from Akihabara. And both my film cameras have half a roll of film in each. And so instead of taking one of my film cameras out today, I'm going to be taking the XT-5. Here's my little rig for this evening, which might explain why I get some questionable looks from some locals. But it more or less allows me to take stills and video at the same time, without having to faff around with settings too much. It's super windy, so apologies in advance if this is unusable audio. But I'm just going to try and look for 36 compositions, is what I was trying to say earlier. Shouldn't be hard, it's a pretty beautiful place. But I've just got my digital camera, and we'll see what we can find around here. Wish me luck. 7-Eleven looks really cool, but I don't know if the car's going to come. I just want to kind of try and catch the edge here. Okay, here we go. No idea if that's going to be any good, even though I've got a screen, but... Alright, the first shot was clearly a warm-up, but this second shot's got something going for it. And it's my first glimpse of the red lights atop of buildings in Tokyo, which references one of the opening scenes of one of my favourite films of all time, Lost in Translation. Just gotta wait for a train to turn up, and then get a long exposure going on. Again, this is digital, so I know whether or not the shot looks good straight after I took it, which is kind of cheating, but it's also the beauty of digital. Alright, again, Tro's a really cool place right over an overpass. It's pretty smart, but this is looking kind of cool. It's got a lot of character, symmetrical lines going on, and there's definitely some, I don't know, there's a thing about Tokyo where it's like kind of clean, messy. It's hard to explain, but there's some of that going on. A bit of clean, messy, we'll call it that. And I'm just going to lock this off, and of course when I want some cars to turn up, there are none around. So I've just got to wait for a couple of cars to pass through so I can get some shutter drag. Sounds like there are some here now. Beauty. Okay, that was great. All right, on to the next scene. Here's a really nice scene I liked this evening. Loved it so much, I actually came back the next morning and photographed it again. In completely different light. Obviously. This one's also pretty cool, because this whole area on the side is completely bare, and this whole area is like quite dark red, so it's got like a really nice like kind of hue going on. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for these guys to cruise out and I'll shoot that frame. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping for. It's always hard to expose for these neon signs that are completely lit up, and then like somewhere like around here, which is completely dark, they will never come up in the same exposure unless you're shooting, you know, maybe film, maybe I'm a bit film biased, but I'm really happy with this. In fact, I was so happy with it, I came back the next morning and took another frame on the way to get a coffee. Japanese architecture is just so unique in the way that it makes use of interesting spaces, just like this one. Now I understand a few of you are probably hoping to see somewhere like Shibuya or Shinjuku, but what I really love about wandering the streets of Nakano is that it's super peaceful. It's really quiet, but there's enough going on to really create some interest. It also allows me to photograph some things that I would not normally see, and that haven't been photographed a million times before. Not by me, at least. I think this frame is pretty cool. It's got a lot going on. Like I said, the 27mm lens on my Fuji is a little bit tighter. It crops to about here, so I reckon there and there. But here's the result. Try and get some people in it, try and get some without as well. Kind of looks cool having the two differences. Classic vending machine, which you can't go past. Well, you can, but it's hard not to. There's something really freeing about wandering around aimlessly with your camera. I know I say that a lot, but I think it's why I was drawn to photography in the first place. And to quote Gary Winogrand, I photograph to see what things look like photographed. So here's another example of how digital can struggle a little bit with contrast and dynamic range in complex lighting situations. Although the XT-5 does a pretty good job of retaining shadow detail, the highlights clearly are blown out in a shot like this. Sometimes reframing and favouring one or the other can make all the difference. Like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to shoot film this evening, but both of my film cameras were loaded with film already, so I opted for the next best thing and took my digital camera out. It's worth noting that none of these photographs are actually edited, they're all straight out of camera JPEGs. I'm shooting using a variation of Reggies Portra film recipe. If you're a Fujifilm shooter, I'm sure you'll have come across that recipe once or twice. I came here and shot this on film the other night, just this vacant corner. But I think I want to get it again tonight on the XT-5 and see how it compares. You won't be able to see the shot from here because it's from the other side, but this is a really cool looking building, and I think I'll regret it if I don't get it back up. Yeah, so this is kind of the frame here. It's about yay, about that, but it's a really beautiful little scene. It's definitely got some loneliness to it and some really odd reflections going on in the windows, so that's kind of what I'm into. Not into looking into people's windows, just into the reflections of this one. This is the other thing about digital that I always forget, is you run out of batteries. I'm on like 1 bar of battery left, so I've got to be a little bit wise with my XT-5 of my next couple of frames, because like I said, I'm hoping to get 36. I have no idea how many I'm on right now. I should have been counting, but there's a wicked cafe I went to the other day just across the way, right here, so I'll shoot that and then see how many I got left, and hopefully I don't run out of batteries before this whole thing's over. That's what I'm going for here. Just a little Little cafe, little quiet cafe in the corner. They do banging coffee. Super fun, really lovely guy who runs it. After a hard day's work, be rude not to, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Arigato 7-Eleven. Now, on the way home, I spotted this scene and took a couple of frames, but I'm having a hard time figuring out which one I like better. Let me know in the comments, which one's your favorite? You know what? With all that said, I think I may as well just shoot a photo of where we were staying, which is 3rd floor right here. The inevitable happened, and that is that my XT-5 ran out of batteries, which generally doesn't happen with my film cameras because they're film, and I hand meter, typically. But anyway, the batteries ran out, so I'm going to say there's a safe 36 on that roll. Hopefully 10 bangers, hopefully 10 good ones, hopefully 5 bangers. That's what I'm really hoping for. This photograph was taken at exactly the same position as the last photograph, but facing the complete opposite direction. And here's another shot from a little further down the road. I really love the neo-futuristic element of this photograph. And here's a nice one to kind of wrap it up with. It's a little neon lit sign that says Pine Pine. I'm assuming it means pineapple, but it's for a bar downstairs, which sadly I never got to, but hey, maybe I'll go next time I plan a trip to Tokyo. Alright, well, I made you a false promise. There's 33 shots that I've counted so far. So here's 3 more from the next morning just to kind of round things off to a full roll of 36 exposures. We can always pretend, right? So if you like what you saw today, why not subscribe for more videos like this one? Oh, and lastly, I think I did come away with 5 bangers today. Well, that about wraps it up for today's video. Thanks for coming along with me and my little XT-5 on a walk this evening around Tokyo shooting not a roll of film. Maybe we'll get to some film next episode. As usual, tell your friends you love them, keep shooting, and I'll see you next time.